evening and thanks for joining us. Lakehead University has seen many great athletes develop within their halls. Some of those athletes have gone on to accomplish more important things in the world of sports. The school took some time to honor and induct a few of them into their Wall of Fame today. Mike Albanese has more.
The anniversary of the first Wall of Fame induction, and the crowd grows every time. An estimated 300 people showed up to honor the 4 category winners. Mark Joden won male inductee with his wrestling skills and reminisced about his favorite moment during his stay.
It was my final year at Lakehead in '82 when I was chosen as most outstanding wrestler at the CIAUs at the time because I just finished battling a fairly serious injury.
Joden said he felt honored to be selected, much like the female inductee Katja Mason, who said she was floored with excitement when she heard. Mason, having around 5 months to think back upon her time on the basketball team, was still taken away by the setting of their court and the fond memories that it holds.
My fondest memories are certainly when we hosted nationals. I mean, that was amazing. Playing in the Thunderdome. The fans were incredible, and I think that that's the way it is now. I would be sad to see the Thunderdome go away. The gym, it was just an amazing place to play at.
Mason played under the next guest, who was the Builder inductee Stu Julius. Julius coached the women's basketball team to almost every pinnacle you could think of, including the national championships. Julius was not interested in talking about his feats, though, but those of the team in general.
I think we put women's basketball on the map. We were very fortunate within our first 5 years. We went back national championships. We had a 100% graduation rate from our athletes. And we hosted the national championship here 4 or 5 times and really got women's basketball going.
The last was the team inductee, in which the women's field hockey team from 1973 through 76 was honored. Many women, including the coaches and players, showed up to accept the induction. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
Well, more disappointing numbers for the Port of Thunder Bay. Latest cargo totals for the month of September have been released, and they continue to show results that fall far below last year's volumes. In total, almost 720,000 tons of cargo moved through the port in September. That's down from the 950,000 that was recorded in the same month last year. As the case has been all year long, reduced grain numbers make up the most of the shortfall. Grain shipments fell from 845,000 tons in September 2012 to just 617,000 this time around. The total shipment for the port this year now sits at 3.9 million tons compared to 5 million at this time in 2012. Overall, grain volumes have dropped from 4 million tons last year to 3.1 million tons this year. Well, City Council was asked this past week to amend a bylaw that would in effect ban all smoking on hospital property and give anyone caught smoking a fine. While there was a lot of support for the measure, some on council did struggle with moving ahead with the enforcement. For our question of the day, we wanted to know if you thought this was the right way to deal with the issue.
I don't agree, but like I said, they should be a smoking area, and there's a lot of people that are in the hospital that do smoke, and they don't want to pull their IV and stuff and drag it around a lot of areas, and actually go somewhere that's a couple of miles away or whatever, a block away, to have a smoke when they're hooked up to an IV on a wheelchair. They have to have somewhere to have a smoke.
I think the smokers have rights too. They should give them a place to smoke.
Smoking on hospital property, yeah, I think that's reasonable, because people are sick. Some people might not be around certain smoking, and they can't be around that stuff. So you have to be respectable to other people's needs and stuff.
Yeah, that's a hard issue. It's hard to quit smoking, but it is for their health.
If you're sick, you don't want to walk halfway across property to have a cigarette. So yeah, I think there should be a place where they can put a gate or something so you can smoke there.
The Centre for Addiction and Mental Health is working on improving services in the justice and health sectors in Ontario. 18 collaboratives have been formed from across the province in order to improve and enhance access to mental health and addiction services. Kenora is making its own contribution with a youth criminal justice collaborative. Nate Jones has more.
It was a morning of brainstorming and presentations to identify the gaps and bring together services related to mental health. This particular group in Kenora is focused on finding ways to assist youth in the justice system who may have mental health or addiction issues. Representatives from community support services, advocacy groups, and even the OPP all contributed to the meeting. Constable Bob Burney says the OPP's role in the system goes beyond locking people up.
I mean, it pays dividends on many, many levels. Not to mention, the cost of policing, the cost of communities, but also on an individual level, the youth involved and the community involved. So we see the importance and the merit of it, and as I say, we're strong supporters.
Solutions to applicable youth include prevention in the form of community support. The OPP also strongly believes in diversion programs and treatment services. Public health nurse Kim Elke works in harm reduction. She says because programs and services are funded on a population basis, it's important that organizations work together to serve clients better.
So we really try to do the most that we can with our healthcare dollars. So instead of projects working parallel to one another, we're really trying to meet collaboratively and working off the same platform so we can do more with our funding dollars.
Rob Moore from the Center for Addiction and Mental Health says a common issue that many organizations face is the vast geography of the Northwest. He believes there is a lot of work to be done to close some of these gaps, but he's confident Kenora organizations can achieve this goal.
I also heard a lot about a number of initiatives that are going on. So there's a lot of positive work going on here, and it really is a question for us about how to support and align our resources with the work that's going on in the local community.
The province expects these collaborations will shorten wait times in community and hospital-based services while providing relief to a taxed healthcare system. The next collaborative meeting in Kenora is expected to take place next month. Nate Jones, TBT News.
Well, it's not often when students get to spend a day of the weekend hanging out with their principal, and it's even more rare when they do it hundreds of feet in the air. 4 lucky winners of a Lakehead University Student Union contest got to take part in a free limousine and helicopter ride today. The students participated in a contest during their orientation week. Hundreds of students got in on the draw, and it was sponsored by the same groups that helped fund Lakehead's orientation. While the weather conditions weren't the greatest, Lakehead University President Brian Stevenson had full confidence in his Whiskair pilot. He spoke about how great of an opportunity this was for out-of-town students to get a lay of the land. Stevenson had his own goals, though, when it came to the flight path.
I don't think we've decided yet. We're hoping to fly over the campus, but we'll ask the pilot. I think he's going to tell us where we can and can't go, but we hope to go over the campus because I've never seen the campus from the air, so I'd love to do that.
Lucy hopes to host an event of this proportion again next year. Well, schools, coffee shops, parks, and even City Hall were hit with random acts of poetry this past week. The 9th annual edition of RAP has come to another successful close. Roughly 13,000 people got caught up in the unscheduled performances each year in places where they live their everyday lives. And just like previous years, even our elected officials got in on the action. Definitely Superior Art Gallery always makes a special appearance at City Hall during the week of Random Acts of Poetry. RAP is intended to engage the public in thinking about the creativity and inspiration of spoken word and musical performances. Councillor Larry Hebert showed off his own poetic skills at the expense of the mayor.
Definitely Superior wax poetic, while my little ditty is pathetic. Now we have that gal Colton responding. Important we have a lawyer corresponding. Randy and team do great work, her hair so red, and here sits Hobbs with nearly a follicle on his head.
Random Acts of Poetry had more than 20 artists perform at 30 locations throughout